In 1984, an album came out of Japan exhibiting a frantic and fractious deconstruction of 20th century classical instrumentation that has to be heard to be believed. The ensemble in question is Lacrymosa, and from their self-titled debut album, the track Opus 2. Kind of has the mood of like an empty room that isn't, well, a supposedly empty room that isn't as empty as you might think. Yeah, spine tingly, like rats are roaming around, scarecrows are coming to life. Spiders and bats are flowing in and nesting. It's like, don't go in the basement. Oh, hear the way they're just that sound they're getting with that bow. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Oh, hear the pizzicato strings that dun, 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 and with that woodwind, dun, na, 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 na. The interaction between the two. Quite a bass line there, yeah. We went from like a stand-up bass at the beginning, I think, to like now we got a really like circular electric bass line. Really like cutting like cellos and such. Let's see, what are the main musical mastermind behind this project is Chihiro Sato, who is responsible for bass guitar, fretless bass, mandolin, and percussion. Yeah. Here the bass was kind of like contradicting that descending motif, and well, you've got so many things going on simultaneously. Really like striking, almost kind of like psycho shower scene type of shrieking. Okay, now we got like 4 things going on right here. Well, okay, we got the drums, we got the violin kind of playing sort of in open cadences. We got the really closed cadence bass line, boom, 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 boom. And the piano, the really tight. God, this so far is just sounding like nothing. I mean, I've ever heard. I mean, the complexity of it all, and just the so many things going on at once, and so much like energy. And I mean, art Zoyd were rarely this frantic and dense. And Univers Zeuhl were rarely had so many things colliding with one another. They let's see, let's see, drums by Masahiro Sasaki, and piano, and elsewhere, harpsichord by Sawako Fajita. And there's some connection between this group and Katra Tirana, who put out a few albums in the mid 80s. Yeah, of like avant-garde, avant-folk. It's been a while since I've heard those. Something's taking shape here. King Crimson, like circa 73, 74, would sometimes go into these dropout, kind of quiet, deconstructed sort of dirges where something would kind of take shape. Although, of course, the instrumentation here is a lot different. That comparison can only go so far. I read somewhere, I guess it was a quote by the musical mastermind, Chihiro, that he didn't like. It was something. It was like a piece of paper that came in one of those RER Megacorp, those compilations that they used to put out back in the '80s of mixed artists. And this was being distributed on the Recommend network, and where anyway, Chihiro, I guess, did not like being compared to the obvious. He didn't like the UZ-AZ comparison, so that should be kept in mind. So I'm trying to pay more attention to really how this isn't like those acts. Hear that little rattling that's going around? Yeah, something is forming with that flute, but this has kind of like a spooky vibe to it, kind of like wandering around with a flashlight, wondering what's around the corner, trying to listen for something. And all those little rattles and sounds and ticks and everything, that's like little critters roaming around, kind of out of sight. Let's see, anything I haven't named? Let's see. There's a few other people, but I don't think I'm hearing them right now. I'm just hearing basically Chihiro and Violin is played by one Ash. That's all the info that's given, and I click on that name, and all it brings up is the two mid-'80s Lacrymosa releases, and no information. That doesn't even say the real name of that performer. Okay, now we got like bass, piano, and violin, each doing something different from one another. And flute. And some drums, too. Okay, maybe the drumming does somewhat remind me a little bit of Daniel Denis. I mean, the kind of fills that he would do to throw off different chamber type elements, and the way that the drums just kind of come in and collide and sort of corrupt everything. Yeah, AZ never quite got that avant-garde. And at the same time, that the comparisons would be erroneous anyway, since AZ didn't even use a drummer. Now Yuzi did, but then again, Yuzi never had as many dropouts and deconstruction, like quiet stretches like that we just heard, or they were never the avant-garde either. Now, basically, it seems to be primarily the violin, the bass, which is getting a little bit more tense, it seems, and the drums that are dominating. Piano's being subtle. It's hard for me to really wrap my head around the bass line, because trying to find the start and the end of. But it's the primary thing that's giving us structure here. I like how the piano's just kind of getting a little bit more sprinkly. Yeah, the bass is kind of giving up the structure it was playing, and it's just kind of randomly hitting. I think we're just kind of falling apart here. We're not going to return to really any cohesive structure. It's just been this has been very unpredictable. And it's what I like about it. Well, that was a welcome surprise, yeah. I'm glad we got to hear that one more time. Otherwise, a very fractious and, for the most part, through composed number that emphasized space and silence and just little spine-tingling droplets of sound, every bit as much as it represented kind of dense chamber interplay. Yeah. Lacrymosa with Opus 2. An act, put out an album in 84 and a single in 1985, and then both were reissued in the mid-90s. I think with some like new material too. Yeah, there was a mid-90s album as well. And really just carving out their own sound, like very unique, whether you place it within chamber, avant-garde chamber rock. Few uh, ever used that much colliding fractious sound and noise and veering off structures so much and just being quite comfortable doing so. And in the back when I was in my 20s and I was listening to the CD, I have to say back then it was primarily the really kinetic moments that made me take notice. And there were other parts that would pass me by, but playing this really closely, I found myself captivated in different ways throughout it, even when it was just kind of like going boom, boom, like yeah. I like it. It's just it's one of those tracks that you have to really pay attention to and soak in. And I have no idea. One can only imagine what visuals may have been in mind as this was, or what kind of plot this opus was supposed to follow or anything. Yeah, but anyway, it's up to the imagination, I guess. Yeah, Lacrymosa, Opus 2, 1984. Yeah, very different type of release from Japan. Although a sign of things to come. Like in like the 1990s, there would be a big upswell of chamber rock influenced musicians and bands from Japan. Um, One country that, in many ways, I think peaked did a lot of its put out a lot of its best releases after 1985. Yeah, the one part of the world that had all this great energy within the broader context of rock after the inspiration had gone out of, say, the United States and England. But that's a topic for a whole different video and series. Anyway, for more Rubies and Sapphires from the Lacrymosa recordings and many other Japanese artists, see the directory of albums by Japanese artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the layers, the interplay, the fractious, corruption, sonic, just scribbling and just chaos of it all. And any observations you want to make about the harmonic elements, the metric density and complexity and such. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most dear traveled maximalist, signing off.